Hi, this is Blair Pleasant. I'm in Miami at the Genesys GForce event, and with me is Chris Connolly. Chris is Global Director of Digital Solution Strategy. So welcome, Chris.
Hi, Blair. Thank you.
Let's talk about automation.
Sure.
What does Genesys mean when you say automation?
Well, automation, I think we see a macro trend in automation. We've seen this year with things like chatbots, but automation as a whole is a trend that we're seeing where we look at customer service tasks, things that you and I both want to do, and letting systems automate that work. I think we've all probably experienced a time where we need to rebook a flight and you need
Just now, in fact.
Just now, there we go. Where you need to call them or they're calling you to do those things. And really the purpose of automation is to take out some of that really low level work, things that can be automated, things that are formulaic, and really putting a machine in charge and putting barriers and rules around that to let the system guide the automation. So an example would be like air booking. You might have a robot, like a chatbot, reach out to you and do the prompt, the question and answer sessions to rebook your flight and move on. It's really that simple.
Do you have specific solutions?
We do. So at Genesys, we made some acquisitions last year with a company called SpeechStorm, which is amazing technology. You write applications using their tools, and you can deliver them in voice or visually. So at Genesys, prior to the acquisition, we had some technology called the widgets and our widget framework. So we spent a bit of time bringing those technologies together in the last 6 months, and we think we've got something pretty exciting with micro apps. And really the concept and notion of a micro app is a small temporary application. You might have a collection of these, you might have 10, you might have 100 that do a very specific purpose. Like it might just do the 1 or 2 steps to change a bill or 5 steps to change an address. And you can mash them up and embed them in iMessage or embed them in social messaging apps or on the web. So we're using a lot of the technology that we've had. We've brought along SpeechStorm now, which is really amazing technology, and delivering those out to the world of customer service.
Can you give us some examples or use cases in customer service?
So the one, I guess, that comes to mind is things like payment processing and credit card collection. Quite often we have to look at the compliance nature of collecting secure details like credit cards. There's PCI compliance, DSS, etc. And it's a challenge that we all in customer service need to look at, both from a customer perspective, who am I sharing my data with, but also from an organizational perspective, whose data am I responsible for. So with the micro apps for payment, you might have them as mini applications that do that one task well for PCI, and it takes, it really reduces your compliance exposure, and you can push those out via web, you can push them out via messaging apps. So that's probably a very simple and universal example for a micro app.
Is artificial intelligence part of this?
Yeah, so AI is big, right? AI is got the brand rep of big data had a couple of years ago. It means a lot of things to a lot of people, but there is something there. It is very real at the same time. So the whole notion of AI and machine learning, I think we'll see play out. We're seeing it now, and we're going to see it for the next 10 years. AI as a whole, if you've seen the movie Her or Space Odyssey 2001, we're still a little bit away from that, but not as far as you think. The manifestation, I think, will be in the form of things like chatbots and Amazon Alexa, where you can now talk to it. But we will move, I guess, maybe in 10 years to a point, maybe even 5, where those things are starting to connect together and be part of a larger whole of AI and automation.
So what can we expect to see in the next 6 months to 5 years?
So in the next 6 months to 5 years, I'd say the next 6 months we're going to see the continued drive in digital and people interacting through their preferred channel, which is more often than not a channel that they control at any point in time, which is quite often web. And it's web and on mobile devices more broadly. I think in that sort of near term, that trend will continue. We'll start to see these notion of micro apps, and they might be called something else, start to arrive and be used within the contact center world. And then I think over the longer term, we're going to see a lot more of AIs, if you put it that way, taking the charge, and you start to interact with a piece of intelligence rather than a person, or that intelligence is helping guide a person and is almost like a colleague for you rather than a website.
Great. Well, we have a lot to look forward to.
Thanks, Blair.
Thank you so much.
Ciao.